Practical and applied psychology. Attachment theory. How do our childhood experiences influence our adult relationships? The child's tie to his mother is a product of the activity of a number of behavioral systems that have the predictable outcome of increasing the proximity of the child to his mother. John Bowlby. Why do we love the way we love? Why do some of us crave constant closeness while others feel suffocated by it? Why do we find ourselves repeating the same painful patterns in dating and marriage despite our best intentions? For many in the United States, modern relationships can feel like a minefield. Navigating the landscape of dating apps, situationships, and the cultural pressure to be independent often clashes with our biological imperative for connection. The answers to these complexities lie in attachment theory, one of the most extensively researched and validated frameworks in psychology. This analysis delves deep into the mechanisms of attachment, how early childhood experiences in the U.S. context shape adult romantic strategies, and crucially, how we can earn security later in life. 1. The biological imperative. It's not just in your head. To understand attachment, we must first destigmatize the neediness often criticized in American culture. We are not wired for isolation, we are wired for connection. In the 1950s, British psychologist John Bowlby and American psychologist Mary Ainsworth revolutionized our understanding of human bonds. They posited that the attachment system is a biological safety mechanism, as vital as hunger or thirst. The neurobiology of connection. When a child feels threatened, loud noises, separation, hunger, their amygdala, the brain's alarm bell, activates. They cry or reach out. If a caregiver responds with warmth and consistency, the child's brain releases oxytocin and opioids, which soothe the amygdala and re-engage the prefrontal cortex, the rational, regulating part of the brain. The lesson: this cycle teaches the developing brain, I am safe, my needs matter, others can be trusted. The disruption: if the caregiver is inconsistent, absent, or frightening, the child's nervous system remains in a state of hyperarousal or shutdown. This biological wiring forms an internal working model, a blueprint for how relationships function that persists into adulthood. 2. The 4 attachment styles. A deep dive. Research indicates that roughly 50 to 60% of the U.S. population is securely attached, while the remaining 40% fall into one of the insecure categories. Understanding where you fit is the first step towards relationship health. 1. Secure attachment, the anchor. Childhood origin. Caregivers were consistent, responsive, and attuned. They didn't need to be perfect, but they were good enough. They let the child explore, but were a safe haven when things got scary. Adult presentation. The mindset, I am worthy of love and you are capable of loving me. Behavior. Secure adults in the U.S. are comfortable with intimacy and independence. They don't play games, no waiting 3 days to text back. They assume their partner has good intentions. When conflict arises, they don't attack or flee, they move towards resolution. The superpower: they are effective co-regulators. If their partner is stressed, they instinctively know how to soothe them without losing their own sense of self. 2. Anxious preoccupied attachment, the pursuer. Childhood origin. Caregiving was inconsistent. Sometimes the parent was warm and available. Other times they were distracted, intrusive, or cold. The child learned to get attention. They had to turn up the volume on their distress. Adult presentation. The mindset, I am not okay on my own and I'm terrified you will leave me. In the U.S. dating scene, the anxious attacher is often labeled clingy or needy. They have a hyperactivated attachment system. They are incredibly sensitive to shifts in their partner's mood. A delayed text or a slightly different tone of voice can trigger a panic response, amygdala hijack. The protest behavior. To quell their anxiety, they may engage in protest behaviors, excessive texting, trying to make the partner jealous, or keeping score. These are not malicious acts, they are panicked attempts to re-establish connection. 3. Dismissive avoidant attachment,
The distancer. Childhood origin. Caregivers were emotionally unavailable, distant, or rejected the child's attempts at closeness. The child learned that expressing needs led to rejection, so they adopted a strategy of self-reliance. They deactivated their attachment system to avoid the pain of unrequited dependency. Adult presentation. The mindset, I don't need anyone, relying on others is weak. In a culture that prizes individualism like the US, dismissive avoidants often appear highly successful and independent. However, intimacy triggers their flight response. When a relationship gets too real, they pull away. They may nitpick a partner's physical flaws, romanticize the one that got away, or bury themselves in work to avoid emotional vulnerability. The misconception, it is often assumed they don't care. In reality, studies show their physiological stress levels, heart rate, cortisol, do spike during conflict, even if they look calm on the outside. They are not unfeeling, they are suppressing.
4. Fearful avoidant, disorganized attachment. The chaos. Childhood origin. This is often rooted in trauma or abuse. The caregiver was a source of fear, frightening, or was themselves frightened. The child faced an impossible biological paradox. The source of safety is also the source of terror. They want to flee to the parent, but also from the parent. Adult presentation. The mindset is, I want you close, but being close is dangerous. Behavior. This is the rarest and most painful style. In relationships, they oscillate between high anxiety and high avoidance. They may pull a partner in passionately, only to shut down cold when things get stable. They often feel they are unlovable and that others are untrustworthy. 3. The anxious avoidant trap, a modern American tragedy. One of the most common and volatile pairings in dating is between an anxious person and an avoidant person. Why do they attract? Confirmation bias. The anxious person expects they will have to fight for love, confirming their childhood view. The avoidant person expects they will be engulfed or controlled, confirming their childhood view. The spark. The anxious person mistakes the avoidant's ambiguity for mystery or chemistry. The avoidant person initially enjoys the anxious person's admiration. The cycle. The trigger. The anxious partner seeks closeness, requests a date, asks for reassurance. The reaction. The avoidant partner feels suffocated and withdraws, takes longer to text, create space. The escalation. The anxious partner's amygdala fires. They panic and protest, call repeatedly, get angry. The retreat. The avoidant partner views this emotion as crazy or too much and retreats further to a fortress of solitude. The stabilization. Eventually, the anxious partner gives up or apologizes and the avoidant partner returns. Peace is restored until the next trigger. This cycle can last for decades if not identified. 4. The U.S. cultural context. Psychology does not exist in a vacuum. U.S. culture uniquely impacts these styles. The independence myth. American culture heavily stigmatizes dependency. Codependency is often overdiagnosed. This validates the avoidance style, I'm just independent, and shames the anxious style. You need to love yourself first. The paradox of choice. Dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge exacerbate attachment insecurity. The illusion of infinite options triggers the avoidance tendency to look for perfect, while the ghosting culture keeps the anxious system in a state of chronic hyperarousal. Parenting trends. The U.S. is oscillated between cry it out, which can risk avoidant attachment if applied rigidly, and helicopter parenting, which can risk anxious attachment by preventing self-regulation. 5. Earned security, the path to healing. The most important takeaway from practical psychology is neuroplasticity. Your attachment style is not a life sentence. You can develop earned security. For the anxious preoccupied, stop the protest. When you feel the urge to double text or lash out, pause. That urgency is a chemical hijack, not reality. Self-soothing. You must learn to regulate your own nervous system.
deep breathing, exercise, or calling a secure friend before reacting to your partner. Believe people. When someone shows you they are inconsistent, believe them. Do not try to win their love to prove your worth. Communicate needs directly. Instead of, "You never listen to me," protest, try, "I feel lonely and would love to spend 20 minutes talking tonight." Direct need. For the dismissive avoidance, identify deactivating strategies. Notice when you start focusing on your partner's flaws. Example, "She chews too loudly." Recognize this as a defense mechanism to create distance. Lean into discomfort. When you want to pull away, stay for 5 more minutes. Practice tolerating the sensation of vulnerability. Reframe independence. True independence is being able to depend on others without losing yourself. Interdependence is stronger than isolation. Communicate the need for space. Instead of ghosting or shutting down, say, "I need an hour to recharge, and then I'd love to see you." This reassures your partner and protects your autonomy. For the fearful avoidant, therapy is crucial because this style often involves trauma. Professional support, EMDR, somatic experiencing, is often needed to untangle the fear from the love. Consistency. Seek partners who are boringly consistent. The spark of chaos is often a trauma bond, not love. 6. Conclusion. Attachment theory is not about labeling or blaming our parents. It is a tool for compassion. It helps us understand that the partner who is clingy is actually fighting a primal fear of abandonment, and the partner who is distant is fighting a primal fear of engulfment. By understanding the internal working models we forged in childhood, we can rewrite the script in adulthood. We can move from a subconscious reaction to a conscious choice. The goal is not to find a partner who doesn't trigger you. The goal is to build a relationship where you can heal those triggers together.